Welcome back, everybody. We're final half hour of the week, getting ready for the weekend. College World Series going on. The NCAA college baseball tournament begins this weekend. That's always fun. We're without basketball for another week, but the Stanley Cup playoffs are rolling on. We'll get you updated on that before we say goodbye. This time next week is one of my favorite events on the calendar, and I'm not saying that because of our next guest. The NCAA track championships are always filled with ridiculous performances, and most often you're going to see an athlete or two there at the U.S. Olympic trials, which go on this year in June, and maybe even an Olympian out of that. We did that with Peyton Otterdahl from North Dakota State, who, of course, went on and represented the United States at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. Our next guest, I don't want to get her way down the road yet because she wants to enjoy what could potentially happen next week. One of the very best athletes we produced out of the state of North Dakota in recent memory, from Grand Forks, Red River, and now the University of Minnesota, heading back to the NCAA championship. She's already been an All-American, and she's going to be competing in two separate events at the NCAAs next week. Grand Forks, Red River alum Shelby Frank joins us this morning from the University of Minnesota. Big Ten champion, I can say that. How's that sound next to your name? That's pretty darn cool as well, right?
That's pretty darn cool.
It's great to see you. Tell me the anticipation of doing this again. You've already been out there, but does this one feel a little bit different?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This one does feel a little bit different just because I ended up redshirting last year, so I didn't get the chance to go out there last year and compete. And so kind of being back after almost 2 years,
yeah.
It's awesome. Get back out in Eugene, not just for USAs, but for NCAAs is super exciting.
Can you give us the thought process on redshirting in track? I think people understand how it works in basketball and football and those sports, but in track, how difficult is that where you can compete a little bit, but you're not competing full? Can you give us the lowdown on that?
Yeah, so basically when you're redshirting, you're just an individual. You're not traveling with a team. You kind of do everything for yourself. So last year I went to my own meets. I competed by myself, flew out by myself, kind of did everything on my own. So it was more of like a pro situation kind of when you're out of college. But I think that was a really good experience for me to have my junior year of college.
Did it feel lonely at times?
It did. And I was a little bit, I don't know if jealous is the right word, but like I wanted to be at the meets that my teammates were at last year. So I'm super glad to be back after 1 year off.
I guess the flip side of that is when we were visiting off air, you do get another year next year, which you're going to do. So, I mean, that's, I guess, the trade-off, right?
Right. No, I'm super excited. And I just feel like having that extra year of training under my belt too will be helpful in pushing me the next year.
Well, let's go through this season then. Were you just ready to rip the door off the hinges when the outdoor season began?
I was but I was also kind of nervous just because I switched some things up in discus, and coming back in discus was kind of a big thing. And I didn't really know that hammer was going to kind of come along, but it ended up coming along really, really well. So I'm super thankful for that, and every opportunity that I've had this year just to go out and compete, because I think last year it showed me that I need to be thankful for every moment that I have here.
So 2 years ago, you were All-American. You finished 6th at the NCAAs in the discus, which I'll ask in a second. But you mentioned the hammer throw. How did this come about? How did you get roped into that event? How did that come about?
So I actually didn't throw hammer in high school. I only threw discus and shot put at Red River. And hammer throw is mainly only a college event. And so Peter is a great hammer coach. He's had a ton of hammer success. And so I think that just 4 years of training, consistently staying in summers, doing what I need to do, has really progressed my hammer, and it's worked out for me. I have some long arms, so that's what you need.
Was it like a natural fit when you started doing it? Like, hey, I'm okay at this.
I think that the weight indoors, it's the same move as the hammer, but it's heavier. I think that came along faster than the hammer did, because hammer is a little bit more technical than the weight is. But as soon as I kind of got the technique down, hammer came along super fast the past like year and a half, I'd say.
And when you're out doing it, like, okay, hey, I like this because I'm having success with it? Did it kind of go hand in hand?
I've always kind of been like, I like this for discus, and hammer's been a little bit more of a struggle, but I think this year I've really just enjoyed the process of hammer. Like my coach always says, hammer is fun. And so just like enjoy the process, enjoy all of that. So I think that has really helped me this year, especially in the hammer.
You're one of two women that are going to Eugene to get both in the discus and the hammer throw. When I say that, what goes through your mind? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really even like think about that, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people mainly double in discus and shot.
Yeah.
And so discus hammer is a little bit, there's not many people who do that. So I think it's an honor. It's awesome to represent that field.
I'm not a great track and field mind. Are they similar, like throwing motions with the discus and the hammer? Are they two totally different disciplines?
They're two totally different disciplines.
Yeah. So, not trying to make you feel even better here, but to be good at both of them, that's two different training methods then, right?
Yeah, so I had some experience of discus coming in high school. I threw disc for 5 or 6 years.
Forever,
so,
right?
Yeah, right. And so the discus came along super well ever since then. But then hammer kind of just, since it was so new, I feel like the first few years were just for growth and like projecting upwards. And so being able to learn that technique while also having discus in my back pocket has been helpful for learning how difficult the technique is.
Give me your expectations then for this week. Where are you at? Like this will be a successful week if I do blank.
Just be myself. I don't really need to do anything crazy. I don't want to put that amount of pressure on myself either. I kind of just want to go out there and do what I've consistently been doing all season. And if I do that, then things will go well.
You've been out there. I would love to get out there once to see it. For people that don't follow track, give us, what is the comparison, Shelby, of being out in Eugene? What is it that comes to mind when I ask you that?
Man, it's awesome just because I feel like track isn't necessarily a very popular sport to begin with, and so there's never really a large crowd. But in Eugene, the environment's just different. There's people cheering. There's always people there watching the events because there's people from there or around there that just come and watch. They may not know anyone, but they just come and watch. And so to have spectators there, to have people cheering you on, and also to be able to throw discus in the infield is always a fun, in that stadium is awesome. And it's the biggest stadium. I think it's the biggest. It has the most money in it in the US. And so it's an amazing feeling. And so just to be there, it feels like we're like recognized.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty special.
To have, and I asked this of other athletes that have gone there, and I'll ask you, to have a crowd that understands the sport, does that help you compete more?
Yeah, I think so. I guess I'm one to mainly tune out what's going on around me because I'm kind of just in my own world. But I think that to know that there's people there who actually know what's going on and just enjoy watching is awesome, and would love to have more people. So it's always awesome to have them there.
Well, you spoke about competing inside the track when other events are going on. Give us the lowdown. What is that environment like? It's and trying to block all that out when you have a huge crowd there.
I feel like I've always kind of been, my friends always tell me, they're like, it looks like you're in your own little world over there. Cause like, I really am, I'm kind of just in my own little bubble off to the side. And so I'm able to like kind of tune everyone out and kind of just do my own thing. And I think that has helped me be successful in the past. And so just relying on that in this type of scenario and knowing that the people are there and they're cheering on, that's awesome. And I love it. But kind of enjoying that in the process, kind of after I'm done competing and compete, do my job, and then enjoy the environment.
You got to go to Costa Rica last year. Give us the lowdown on that and what that experience was like.
It was super fun. Man, well, that was the goal going into USA's last year, was to make that team. And so it was awesome to make that team, and just to be able to wear like the US jersey was amazing. I've kind of always had that dream in life, was to represent the US. So even at the under 23 meet, it was awesome. And I don't know, just to be there with people my age too, who are good throwers, and hang out with them was fun. It was a highlight of my summer for sure.
And you had the silver medal, so that's it helped out as well, I have to imagine, right?
Yeah, no, that definitely did too.
To be now on the USA radar, I mean that's a whole other level we're talking about. I mean, when I say that, what goes through your mind?
Oh man, I'm just really excited. I don't know. I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had, because without the opportunities, I wouldn't be where I am today, and all my coaches and stuff. So having them, and also like just I don't know. Everything Minnesota gives me, I'm so grateful. And so without them, I wouldn't be where I am. So I guess it just makes me reflect on how thankful I am for every opportunity.
We were visiting off air. You are qualified for the U.S. trials. You're basically going to take up residency in Oregon here for the next month. Are you nervous, excited? Tell me about the emotion. I know NCAA's is right now, but in a couple weeks you're going to be for the U.S. trials. Give me your thoughts on heading for that.
I'm excited because I'm now qualified in hammer and discus. So to be able to go in both is awesome. I've never competed in hammer at Eugene. And so being able to go for NCAAs and then also for trials is just awesome, especially kind of being younger in the field. I really just want the experience. It's an awesome experience. And just kind of see what happens. I don't want to put any pressure on myself. I'm still young, still have a lot of years left in me. So kind of just seeing what happens.
Have you let your mind wander to either NCAA champion or Olympian, even like in the dark, like hey, when nobody's around? Have you let your mind go there at all?
Of course. I feel like whenever you have this opportunity, the mind wanders, and that's a conversation to be had at some point. But yeah, no, it's definitely a thought. But I'm also one to just see what happens and just do what I can do.
My last question, I probably lie. I probably have another one after that. But you had your best hammer throw last week. Do you feel like you're peaking at the right time? Like, okay, my best throws are still in front of me here?
Yeah, no, I for sure think that. I think that there's definitely more there in the hammer and more there in the disc. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next 4 weeks here.
We just had the state track meet last week. Give me your fondest memories of competing in Bismarck.
Wow. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Probably just having my coaches with me. I had some awesome coaches, Lee Baker and Matt Fisher. And I think that they really just left a mark on me when I left Red River. Still talk to them to this day, and they've had great success throughout their entire careers. And so just experiencing that with them, and then now also seeing Lee Baker's daughters compete at the state high school meet, because I used to throw with them when they were just tiny. And so seeing them compete this year was pretty awesome too.
Do you feel like you have a huge cheering section back here? Do you hear from people from North Dakota say, hey, we're following you, or hey, we see you, we're going to be watching next week?
Oh, for sure. I have a ton of people, I feel like, on Facebook everywhere. There's people all over there. So it's great to feel the support from home.
Lastly, choosing Minnesota, I know you mentioned best decision you ever made. Just how has that paid off in ways that you didn't expect about choosing to go there?
I guess I just didn't really even know that I was going to be good at the hammer or the weight kind of when I came in, because I didn't do it in high school. And so I knew I wanted to be successful in discus, but I also knew Peter Miller could take me to the next level. He said that from the beginning. So just trusting his process and trusting myself. And that's gotten me pretty far. So I'm super thankful.
Is there a field event you'd like to try that you haven't done yet?
I always say that I would love to be a pole vaulter, but
Oh.
that's just, I'd have to be a lot lighter so I didn't break the pole, you know?
Jeez. How about jav? Have you ever thought about javelin? Have you ever thought about that one?
I mean, I have thought about it. I think in high school I was going to do it for a second, but I just think I hurt my shoulder or my elbow or something.
Shot put? Is that one ever on your radar too?
I did shot put in high school,
Yeah.
But when I came here, we kind of decided against it.
Okay.
And just because hammer and disc kind of took priority. I think next year maybe I could mess around with
Why
it.
not, right? Go for it. You got an extra year. Go for it, right?
Right. Apparently my head coach said I'm not allowed to because he thinks I'll fall and hurt myself. So
It's great to see you and catch up. Congratulations on a fantastic year, and good luck the next month. You got a lot of people be watching you back here. I appreciate the time this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Great to see you. There she is, Shelby Frank from Grand Forks, North Dakota, Red River alum, many times over, state champion, the Big Ten champion as well in the hammer, and she'll compete in the hammer throw and the discus. That's next Thursday and next Saturday out in Eugene, part of the NCAA track championships, and a large contingent of people from back here will certainly be watching what she does. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up and get you ready for a tremendous sports weekend. Hot Mike will wrap after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV, and Inforum.com.